hello, everybody, and welcome to A Walk in My Shoes. I am your host, Dan Vasquez, and I'm so glad you're joining us for this special edition to A Walk in My Shoes. And today we have not one, but we have two very special guests. We have with us Julie Casmo and Sonya Dulaney, and they're both real estate agents, and they are joining us here live in. And they're not from the studio, but from their home, and we're just so happy to have you guys here with us. So welcome to A Walk in My Shoes. How are you guys doing?
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
We appreciate it very much.
Well, no.
Let me go ahead and let you know it is Judy Casmo.
Judy. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Judy. Great. Okay, Judy. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's totally fine.
But I'm so glad you guys got able to join with us. So let's get started. Let's talk about real estate. I'm so excited about this topic. This is something I'm personally interested, and I know many of our youth are also interested on learning more about it. But before we do that, let's get to know you a little bit better. So Judy, tell us a little bit about yourself and whatever you like to share with our audience.
Okay. I actually joined the real estate field at about the age of 50. If I tell everybody that it's a career that can go on for a very long time, I'm turning 70 on my next birthday, and I'm just getting started.
You did not look like 70.
But thanks.
Thank you. I didn't think I did either.
No, all my kids keep me young. So, but I actually owned a business prior to this. I was in a landscape company for 15 years. And I felt the sales and all of the ability to learn people and be able to help and assist people was just all something that rolled right into real estate. So I was really excited about that. And so I did the other job, my landscape company, for about 15 years. And my husband was a part of that. And now we are also in real estate together. So we're really excited. We've loved this career. It is very rewarding, and there are challenges, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Wow. Thank you, Judy. What about you, Sonya?
So I am actually a mother of 3. I started my real estate career at a much younger age. I started when I was about 2005, so
you're going to tell your age.
I'm going to tell you my age. I'm not 70. But I'm still really active in our church. We do a lot of stuff through our church. I'm part of a worship team there. I work with the kids at our church. I still take kids to horse shows and to soccer games and to lacrosse events, so pretty active. So be able to do that and have a career is a pretty incredible and amazing thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah. I should have shared that she's actually one of my 4 children, and we have our 12th grandchild on the way. So we're excited.
Wow, that's a good-sized family.
Yeah.
Wow, so we have a terrific, dynamic team here with us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. And just to get more get to know you guys better, I normally have just some fun questions about you. So I'll start with Judy. And so Judy, tell me, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word? Flowers. I love flowers. Yes, nature. Yeah.
Okay. Judy, tell me something that you're not very good at.
I would have to say math and numbers. That is not my skill.
Oh my goodness.
People are my skill, but math and numbers, I give that to my husband.
And to me.
Okay, that's great. And if you could have one superpower, what would it be, Judy?
Healing people.
Wow, that's very good. Well, that tells me that goes with your other question. You mentioned that your business is people, so that's terrific. That's terrific. All right, so now let me jump over to Sonya. Sonya, we'll start with you. What is your favorite word?
What is my favorite word? Determination.
Okay.
That was my favorite word. Yes.
Right. Awesome. And what are you not very good at?
What was that?
What are you not very good at?
I am not good at being asked questions and having an answer at the last minute.
What are you talking about right now?
Having a response, it takes me a little bit of time to kind of come up with what I want to say, but yeah.
Well, at least you didn't say flowers. I
mean, so far so good, Sonya. You're okay. You're okay. And if you could have one superpower, what would that superpower be?
Oh my goodness! So my hero growing up was Superman. And if I could fly, I would absolutely love to be able to fly. Yeah. That would be really cool. It's not as spiritual as hers or amazing, but I would love to fly from one place in Ohio to another, or even on vacation. How cool would that be?
That would be amazing. I think I would love that as well. Oh, very good, very good. Well, thank you so much for telling us a little bit more about yourself. But now let's get started into the real estate business. So we'll start with Judy. Judy, you started at a late age, 50 years. Tell us a little bit. What drove you to this career?
Well, I have to admit that I tried getting to real estate when I was about 28 years old. I was coming through a very difficult time in my life. Many things were changing. I had a dysfunctional marriage that had some abuse involved, and I just walked from that. And I felt like the career in real estate was just something I really wanted to do. Having said that, it didn't develop then, and it went on, and then I got into the landscaping. But I've always felt like I was really drawn to housing and construction, and I was just super excited about all of that. She'll verify that because all of it comes kind of in my wheelhouse. But to be honest with you, it has so many facets to it and very enjoyable. It just seemed to fit a lot of the things that I like to do.
Wow. Okay, so for the younger people that have no idea what a real estate agent is, Sonya, can you explain to us what's a real estate agent? What do they do?
It's not so easy as just going out and walking, looking at houses, and then all of a sudden they're in a contract and the house is sold. I wish it were that easy, but unfortunately it's not. But you kind of need to know how to work with your client. You need to kind of have some skills to be able to understand them, listen to them, hear what they really need, what their desires are. Every client has a different situation, and you have to be honed into what they really need for their next home. And even when they're selling a home, sometimes they're leaving out of the state, and we need to know how quickly they need to sell that property. You need to be able to understand lending. That's the finance part of it. You need to know a little bit of that. You need to know a little bit about inspecting a home, and how does a home inspector work when they're looking in a home and what they're looking for in your home. So there's just a diversity of things that you need to kind of be aware of. And then also the behind the scenes of working through a contract. You need to know the law side of real estate. So you have to know how to write up that contract for your buyer or your seller in the best interest of their needs and of what they want. So a lot of different hats that you have to wear in real estate.
So Sonya, where I'm listening to you is that there is a sense of being also an educator for clients, right? So you are teaching them about, and you have to know about law, about finances, about, and now back to you, Judy. You said that you're good with people, right? And part of these things that you have to work with them is to finding out what people like. How does that work? How do you find out what people like?
Well, my husband and I started something many years ago. I think it was kind of a different take on real estate, but we started doing one-on-one buyer conferences with all of our clients. We felt like sitting them down, these first-time home buyers, we were finding that education and information given to them was not correct, and they weren't getting represented correctly. And when our own children started buying homes, we saw the need for this. Wow. And just developed this sitting down for about an hour with every client and going through the entire process and explaining exactly what they were going to be up against. And they'll walk out going, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you shared this with me. I don't know what I would have done. But it's just education. It's all about teaching, training, because our goal is to give a client as much information as we can so they can make their best investment decision. It's not up to us to make their decision, but it is up to us to give them as much information so they can.
And we want them to feel comfortable later coming back to us, asking us a question. Sometimes in this situation, you don't feel comfortable going to the agent and saying, I know this may be a dumb question, but we don't want them to ever question anything or assume something in the transaction and then be disappointed or shocked when something comes up. We don't want that at all.
I actually put that in our buyer conference. I'll tell them no questions too silly or ridiculous. You call, text, email anytime. I don't care if it's 9 o'clock at night, you need to go get a cup of coffee or whatever. We're here to make you feel better. We don't want you to miss sleep, because there's a lot of misconceptions. Their friends will talk to them. Somebody will come in, another lender, and they'll get all confused. So we're here to make sure that they enjoy the path they're on, and we take all the stress.
Wow. So there is a lot of communication involved between you and your clients. Can you explain more about this? How much communication really does it take?
A lot of communication.
I was going to say communicate.
And you know what? We don't limit how we communicate either. We are on social media. We use emails, text messaging, phone call. I mean, any way. And that is included. Even what we expect from our lenders is to be accessible at any time, any place. And if we expect that from our lenders, we also be willing to do that for our clients as well. What we expect for them is what we expect from ourselves for our clients. So
I was just going to say, with all of that, there are huge differences in real estate agents, in brokerages, in lenders, all types of finance, all the brokerages that are out there, the different types. There's such a difference in all of that. We have learned what to stay away from. We have encouraged our clients what's going to be a pitfall for them. This is good for you, but this may not be. It's still your decision, but that's where the education is coming in all the time, because we want them to walk through this and go, oh my gosh, they were awesome. I'm so excited. We're going to tell our friends about them. But more importantly, they walk away feeling they were safe and protected and educated.
And at the end of the day, my slogan is your friend in real estate. And I say that because I am your friend in real estate. And I want us to have a relationship even after our deal and our situation. So just being upfront and honest and having the best communication possible is the best way of building a relationship that will last even later than this contract to close.
One of the most important things I'm sorry, you were going to ask me a question?
No, you're doing great.
One of the most important things to my husband and I, when we started our team, and we've had, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 10 people on our team over the past 25, 30 years. But what was important to us is training the team members to always put their ethics first. It's not about a paycheck. It's nothing about that. We've walked away from transactions making not a dime, but it was best for the client. So we want to make sure that they were on the same page. If you're here for a paycheck, you're in the wrong business. This is not a quick make money thing. It's a I care about people thing. And it's the ethics that are so important to us, and we really taught that to our clients, taught that they know it, and taught it to our team members, because that's what it's about for us.
So a word that is resounding as we're having this conversation is trust. Trust.
Yes.
And it seems like you guys are doing a really good job about earning the trust of the clients, because you genuinely care for them.
Absolutely. We do.
You know, for most people, purchasing a property, real estate, it's probably the biggest purchase in their lives, in their lifetime. So there is a lot of anxiety, nervousness, a lot of questions.
Yeah, there really is. It is going to be one of the biggest decisions they ever make in their life, and we don't take it lightly at all.
No, this is a big investment for you, and we understand it.
So you talked a little bit about some of the biggest pitfalls that you've seen. What are some of the biggest pitfalls that you have seen during your careers?
I could take the bigger one if you want to take the smaller ones. We talked about this a little bit before.
Go ahead.
One of the biggest pitfalls that I saw in my career and I got my license in 2000, and now it's 2021, and I feel like around 2006, 2007, the market started dipping really fast. I mean, at the time, I had a lot of properties in contract. I was working with a lot of new construction. And what took place was people started losing their jobs right away. They started losing their income. They didn't qualify for loans anymore. And so in this career, you have to learn to shift very quickly and learn how to overcome, adjust, figure out what's going on. And fortunately, at this time in our career, Sonya and I, of course, both work for the same brokerage. They do give us heads up on the economy coming nationally and so forth and so on. It's very, very important to be with a brokerage that offers a ton of support and education and good tools for our clients. So having said that, back then we didn't have that with the brokerage we were with, so that's unfortunate. And Sonya was actually in that same brokerage back. She's had her license almost as long as I have. So, but the important thing was getting into a position where the clients that did fall, we didn't drop them. We just kept working with them until maybe it was a couple of years later and they could buy a house, or we put them with a lender that could help their situation. There were a lot of foreclosures, and so that was very difficult. Wow. We came out of that, and in that situation where there were so many foreclosures and a lot of, you know, those types of things going on, a new field started developing, and I took it upon myself to start educating myself in the new construction field. So I got into new construction. About 20% of the real estate agents had knowledge about new construction. 80% wouldn't touch it. So it gave us, for a career aspect, it gave us a really big plus in the field. So that was really good. And so I've had all the team members learn about new construction, learn about the builders, learn about the new construction reps.
What is new construction?
Are you asking me? Okay. Yeah, somebody out there may not know. Okay, so a pre-existing house is a house that you may live in now, that somebody else has lived in at some point, and unfortunately on the market right now we have a very low amount of inventory, which means the amount of houses for sale in the entire central Ohio area. So I think we're between 12 and 1,500 homes. Back in 2010, we had 26,000 homes on the market. Wow. And that was an astronomical amount of homes. They were just growing on trees. So what took place was, what did you ask me? I can't even remember now.
New build versus pre-existing. So this is how we work together.
So hey, it's real here. So the new construction is a property that you can actually have built for yourself. So there are many different production builders, custom builders. Custom builders would be somebody that would just really custom a house for you. Very expensive. Yes, on your own land. Production builders are builders that generally build in a neighborhood that might have found a lot somewhere. Maybe they're finishing off the area or whatever. That became an option because they had programs, and please be aware of this, they always offer programs that maybe your existing lenders don't even have. So they're they have a much stronger product. Say I'll just pick D.R. Horton, which is a new builder here in Columbus. They came in and bought out one of the other builders.
Or Pulte.
Pulte, yes. Are you trying to be fair?
No,
am I fair? But I'm just saying they have such a huge monopoly. They're national companies, and so they were able to come in and offer some goodies for the buyer. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, there's an option for buyers to buy that kind of a construction home, and then there's the existing home.
So other small things that aren't as big as a market crash that you would consider that back in 2018 or 2008 would be just things like the lender is just not keeping up to what they promised, not being able to approve the client that they had already pre-approved, maybe not getting it done in the date that you have on the contract to close that contract out. Other things could be the inspection didn't come the way that you had hoped the inspection would come back, and there is a crack in the basement wall that you didn't see before. So there's different things that could create a bump or an issue in the process of the time frame that you're trying to close that property. Or maybe just crazy, the seller just doesn't want to sell anymore. And there's no reason,
really?
Why.
The sellers back away?
Yep, the seller may walk away, or the buyer may walk away. So there are, things that could happen that are out of our control that we didn't expect to happen. But it's our job to figure it out and make it work. So
yeah, we have to many times be fixers. So
Absolutely.
how would you turn that situation around if your buyer just lost their house due to an inspection?
You find them another home.
Okay.
You don't give up. You will find another home. I actually just had that recently, so I know that's why she's bringing that up. And I did, and they're actually even happier with the home that we did find for them.
Sonya, in your opinion, what is the number one tool for a real estate agent? Or what is
Knowledge.
the tool? Knowledge. Okay, great.
Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is power. You need to be ahead of the market. You need to be ahead of the other agents. And that's another issue that you could run into. Agents are not knowledgeable in how to complete a contract. You may get a contract back and it does not have all the information filled out, and you scratch your head and wonder how. Sometimes it's very frustrating. But you need to know your market. You need to know your clients. You need to know your lenders, the products that your lenders are able to give you. And then you need to know your builders. You need to know where your builders are building. Just knowledge is power. So the more knowledge you have, the better opportunities you have to be successful with your clients.
Wow. What about you, Judy? Any other tools that necessary to be a real estate agent?
I think that one of the big tools that we have, that we need to have, is the differences in the lender products. Because in that field, that's very difficult. If you are a first-time home buyer and you don't have down payment assistance, maybe your credit's a little low, we know which lenders that we can bring you a pool of lenders that the buyer can actually choose from that would help build credit. Many of them are free, so we highly recommend that nobody go out and put themselves into a situation where they're, getting credit repair until they've talked with us, because we might be able to save them some money. Wow. But then there's FHA programs, conventional programs, so it's very important to know the differences and help your client with those.
And in a much simpler aspect, get a computer. You're going to need that.
Okay.
For your career, you absolutely have to have one.
Wow. Is there a specific software that you guys use to keep everything like a checklist kind of thing?
So we have a program that's through our brokerage, which is amazing. They call it a KBPoor. We're able to put in all of our clientele, all of our information. We can actually even put things on social media from that program.
Fantastic.
So that is something that is strictly offered through our broker, which is a pretty incredible option that we have being there with them. Yeah.
Again, all brokerages are not created equal.
Neither are agents.
Nope, not agents. Or lenders.
This is so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. So you have to have some kind of credential or license to be able to do this work. Can you tell me the process of this?
That's having some interest in real estate, the best thing to do is really kind of call someone that's an agent. If you had somebody recommended, you can get some information. I have potential students call me and interview with me all the time and ask me questions, and then I'll kind of guide them toward some of the education institutes in the area. We have Honduras, for instance, in Columbus, that can actually get you through your education anywhere from 3 to maybe 12 weeks, depending on which program you use.
And that is a license.
Yes, and that you finish with your education and your license is complete, and then you can file that with the High Division of Real Estate in Columbus.
Okay.
You do have to have a broker at that time, or you can't file, so you do have to have that home base. The other, you can go to Columbus State. They have a 2-year program. So there's a lot of different places you can go to get your education. Just depends on what that student would really feel more comfortable doing. But we're certainly willing to help. And once the education is complete, the brokerage, usually if you're with a good broker, will take that training to a higher next level and give you all the education you need for all the different aspects of your career. And it's ongoing. So we never stop learning. We're always learning.
Wow. What do you have to do to maintain your license?
So you have to do 30 hours continuing education. That is required by the state. every 3 years. You have to keep that up. Now, you also have 9 hours that are also mandatory and are rotating as well, but that usually falls into that 30 hours every 3 years of Common Core, Common Law, and then what was the other one? I can't remember the other one.
You asked me too quick. I didn't think of it. Yeah.
So, but there's 3 in each one, so you have 9 total hours in that you have to get done as well.
And in your first year, so after a student finishes and they get their license and they start working with a brokerage, they have 1 year to finish 20 hours of continuing ed in their first year. A lot of times, depending on the program they're purchased, that 20 hours of education can be included in that price. So they're only paying one time to get all of their books and all of that, including that 20 hours that comes a year later.
Yeah. But a good agent is always getting more information and always educating yourselves. The great thing about real estate is that we have opportunities for continuing ed through lenders and through builders that offer these classes, so you can take them even for free if you wanted or needed to.
Yes.
Oh, that's
so
Yeah,
my husband and I are the team leads. I mean, it's actually under my name, but we team lead together, and we hold a once a month training in an office meeting for our team. And I always try to have 1 or 2 guest speakers in so they can give them current information, because everything's changing all the time. I don't want them not to have that latest program that's going to help their client, or a builder that's opening an area up. So it's really important.
Yeah.
Wow, that's terrific. Approximately how much does it cost to get this education to be ready to go?
Oh, that's a good question.
And Hondros?
I don't remember.
I think it's between $1,300 and $1,700 to do the program through Hondros.
Okay.
And that includes some additional things like the online training, practice tests, and things like that they do to prep you for the state exam. The state exam is excellent, but it's also tricky. So make sure you know all your information before you go down.
So wait, you're talking about exam. You have to take exam? Do you have to pass exam?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay. Go ahead.
we just had a new member take it about a month ago. So he's just joined our team, and they're always trying to up it and increase and add to the education. So,
how many questions
of course,
does it have?
Pardon?
How many questions does the exam has?
I believe he told me there was about 80 questions on it. Most of them are multiple choice. Okay. Some are math. You really have to know your information. But those crammer discs that they give you, you have to study. But
there's 2 parts to it.
Yes. You can share with that.
So you can pass one half of it and then come back at another time and take the other half as well again. But it's about a 3 or 4 hour long process. So it is not something that you fly through this test and then you're done.
Right.
I wish, but it's pretty challenging. So you need to do your work.
It is challenging. I've heard it compared to the what is it that or whatever?
A lawyer.
The lawyer, the lawyer has to pass the bar test.
Yes.
So this is what it is for a real estate agent.
Yes.
Oh my
goodness. Not everybody's going. And you do have an opportunity, though, if you do fail one half of it, that you can come back and take the other half. You don't have to retake the whole thing.
Oh, that's
so that helps. And there are a lot of people, you don't feel like a failure. You might fail it the first time.
Just do it again.
Go and do it again.
Because the great thing is everything on that test has nothing to do with your work here in the real estate field.
You just throw all of it out the window.
It's all technical. It's very important information. It's very important knowledge that you really do need to have. But then you learn how to handle clients, and you learn how to do contracts, and you learn how to close those contracts and how to work with lenders. And all of that is knowledge on the field. That's all experience, and that's understanding and submitting yourself to someone who can teach you that information. So
yes.
You know, I'm so glad you're sharing all of this, because I have talked to young people, and I don't think they know all that it takes to get there. They said, "Oh, I think I'm just going to become a real estate agent and start selling properties," like it's something you could do in one day, but it's not the case, right? Well, I want to let each one of you take turns, but I do want to hear what has been your most fulfilled, accomplished, or proud moment in your careers.
Don't make me go
first.
You
go first.
I already told you my weakness.
You're big.
Oh my gosh, my biggest accomplishment, I would say other than really, if you knew me, you would know that my heart's desire is to really make my clients happy and finding them that perfect home and being the joy on their faces when they sell that house and then are able to move right into their new home it's incredible. It is the biggest high for me. I enjoy that. I really have a lot of fun in making that work for them. And I will say, though, my biggest accomplishment being able to do that has been able to roll into being awarded with the $1 million award, which means I've sold over $1 million in housing products in closings. And so my next goal, hopefully this year, is to hit the 5 million. And so I'm excited about that. But it could not have been done or been possible without all of my friends and family who have trusted and used me and referred me. And I owe it to them. And honestly, that's my biggest excitement is just working with them and just being able to watch them. I literally had a client send me pictures of her first baby in their new home. And that is what excites me. That excites me.
You just can't, then you go, oh, and I got a paycheck? Because honestly, the fun part is seeing their dreams come to pass. It is so rewarding. I had a gal probably 10 years ago who she just had 3 pages of collections on her credit report, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be impossible. But the builder rep I was working with at the time, we just dug in and we worked with her for 2.5 years, and she ended up closing on a new construction home, and holding her keys was like the biggest deal ever. So it's really important to be able to see people have their dreams come to pass.
I had a client, really quickly reminiscing, I had a client who has always wanted a farm for her home, and my daughter rides horses. She's an equestrian, and so we have, so she had horses there, my client, and she just wanted to bring them home. She just wanted to have a place where she could just walk out and be with her horses. And every day I see her posting something on social media, and just recently she said dreams do come true, and that just warms my heart to be able to do that.
We could write stories. All the fun that we've had. Well, this is kind of a sad story. I'll try to make it fast. But we had sold a house to a client that moved in when the DFAS were relocating across the country a few years ago. And she bought a house. She was so excited about it, her first home. But in the interim, she had a health issue that took an infection into her leg, and she lost her leg. And this was the saddest thing. But she had a home that she couldn't even move around in. And we moved into that situation to help her. We helped her sell her house. She had no money. We just transferred the deed for $1 to get her out of it. But she ended up buying a new construction home with all the handicap accessible. It was just, and I hear from her all the time. She's got new grandkids now. And so success stories all the time.
Wow. It's amazing because you're really a part of one of the most important times of their lives, or helping them achieve their dreams, in a sense. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. All right, let's talk a little technical about how important is your credit score when you are. Remember my audience. So if you have somebody 16 years old, 18 years old, 20 years old, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, I will.
Go ahead.
It's not ever too early to learn about your credit.
Never.
So I know that there are a lot of companies out there. Lazarus, back in the day, what are they now? Macy's? They used to issue a lot of $300 credit cards to students to build credit. But it started them in a position and in a path that a lot of times created a lot of debt for them, student loans and so forth. So it's really important for them, for all of you guys out there, to realize that credit cards can help boost a credit, but always do it under the umbrella of a lender that's guiding you, because you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. So your credit score, without a score at least 620, you're not buying a house. It's just too difficult. You don't qualify. The better your score, the better the interest rate. You find favor with the lenders. So your credit score is super important. Try to keep it as clean and build on it as possible. But get with a lender. They'll help you.
Okay. That's good. That's great. So the credit score is very important for
very
everyone,
important.
because
that's what they're going to look at ultimately.
Yeah. Wow, such a great information. Thank you so much for sharing this. And
Sure.
what are some of the challenges along the road in this career? Because we heard about the wonderful things, and that was amazing. Thank you. But what are some of the challenges that you have faced in this career?
We don't have control of the market. We don't have a say in it. So we have to be willing to adjust with a seller's market, with a buyer's market. Right now, and you can say the seller's market is incredible, and it is incredible. So we have to work our way around it to be able to get our buyers to be able to get a contract that is accepted in a seller's market right now.
What's a seller's market?
I would say a seller's market is when when the sellers have more of a say in what goes on in the transaction, as in I don't know the best way of saying it to explain to someone.
Usually seller's market is there's
less houses,
less inventory on the market. So it becomes a seller's house because they get to go, wow, there's not as many, so now we can up our price or we can do whatever. It's not true because they still are subject to the appraisal. but that's what the seller's market looks like. It actually looks like somebody, there's just not as many. The buyers are fighting over the products. They're bidding over each other trying to get that house. A buyer's market, the market's flooded with houses. They have their pick. They can take their time. Right now, houses are selling in hours, not days or weeks.
Yeah. And so when I say knowledge is power, this goes into that as well. Speaking of how do I write up a contract that's going to allow my buyer to win? And what are the things that I'm coming up against? And so there's different ways, and I won't get into it now because there's so many different ways. But we can pull things out of our hat that maybe other agents don't know how to do or what to do in order for my buyer to be able to win that contract. I'll give you a quick example. I had a buyer looking at a property. Just as she was looking on the property, she looked on her phone and she was on a website that showed another property that just became listed. It was not showing yet, but the market is so fast. You have to be quick. And so I was able to contact that agent through means and be able to throw in an offer and convince the buyer or the sellers to go ahead and accept this offer, meaning I offered a lot of things to be able to negate all the 20 others that were set up for that showing. So I beat out 20 other agents by being quick, by knowing what I'm doing, by offering the best offer I could offer to entice them to go ahead and take it, and then negate all the rest of the opportunities that they had. So just knowing your situation and knowing what's going on around you and how to work that offer is very smart, and you need to know that information. So I think the biggest challenge would just be adjusting yourself, adjusting your knowledge, and adjusting to the market and what's going on with that.
Okay, so what I'm sorry, Judy.
Yeah, you're fine.
But
fine.
One of the things that I'm getting from this is that you have to hustle here. You can't just be sitting around waiting for things to come, because you don't get an automatic paycheck, right? There is no paycheck that comes monthly without doing anything. You have to hustle in this job.
Yeah.
So,
You do. You want to hustle in the benefit of the client.
Yes.
And the rest will be the reward at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for saying that.
One of the things, the benefit of having a team that we explain a lot of times to buyers when they're sitting in front of us or a seller is that the benefit of a team is in this market right now. If we were in a buyer conference like I explained earlier and we were talking,
wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, that is so good. Now I have another question. Does political changes affect your career? Okay.
affected us the most has been the lack of inventory.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's been our biggest challenge, not COVID at all, buyers are buying like crazy. They're not paying any attention to COVID, I will tell you.
we thought that might be an issue.
Yeah, we did.
But honestly, adjusting again with the market and being willing to be flexible and available. And we did COVID protocols, and we still do COVID protocols, and we are aware of that. And so just adjusting how you work and how you do things is what helps. It's what makes it happen. And like she said, buyers are buying.
Yeah. It's incredible.
We just need to get sellers to sell. That's what we need.
That's great. And that leads me to my next point about the city that we live in, Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio is the 14th largest city in the United States. It's the second largest city in the Midwest. We are close to 1 million people in the metropolitan area, but I just came out of a meeting. That's why I'm telling you all these numbers, because I just got out of a meeting, and they are projecting that by 2050, Columbus, Ohio will more than double. We're expecting about an influx of 1.5 million more people living in our city. Are we prepared for that, or in your careers? How does this pan?
Of what's going on, and they are increasing the inventory, meaning instead of making you wait 6 months to build a house, they've already started the process. So now they have homes ready, which they call our spec homes. They have those ready for clients and for buyers to come in. They have, I think a certain company has now planned for 90% of their sales to be inventory homes. So they are adjusting as well to the influx of buyers coming in.
Let me put some numbers to that. To be honest with you, that may mean 15 to 20 subdivisions in the city all around the 270 outer belt that they are going to take 90% of their lots that they have developed and purchased and start homes on those. So what that's going to look like is pouring hundreds of homes back into the market that we have such low inventory, and that will change the aspect and the ability for buyers to be buying here. So I know they're getting smarter, and they're working to try to offset that. One of the reasons Columbus is so popular is that it's always been a more affordable area, safe to live, the weather's good here, but we ended up being like #1 place to live in America just a couple of years ago. People are we have people pouring in from everywhere to live here.
Yeah.
We are a refugee city. As far as from immigration, we've had a large number of individuals from Nepal, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and with CLC, you know, we work with immigrants, and we are serving more and more individuals. We're happy to serve. But Columbus is a good place. It is a good place.
It's a really good
great place.
So, in your opinion, do you think it's better to build your own house or to purchase a house already in existence?
That really depends on your situation. I can't say to build a house for this person is going to be the best decision for building for this person. Pre-existing for this person may not be what someone else really needs and wants. So that is such a tough decision thing to say.
Yeah, she's absolutely right. It's going to be always up to the client. We, as our team members, are educated to bring both to the table so that again, that person can make that decision. If we don't have any knowledge about new construction, we're eliminating a part of our education for them, and that is not, I mean, the High Division of Real Estate tells us that we have to be knowledgeable on all products. So I think that's where a lot of agents are falling for their client, is that they don't have the knowledge for all the different products that are out there. So that is super important. The other thing that I think Sonya would have said if she'd have kept on going was the idea of new construction is awesome, but more expensive. So you have to look at, okay, if I want something new and I can't find it in the market because right now a lot of things are picked over and there's money to be involved in fixing up. If that person's an executive and they don't have time, maybe that new build's better for them. but some other young couple that go, oh, I just can't wait to fix up my own house. Well, you shouldn't really necessarily bring up the new construction idea. Try to exhaust that existing market first.
That's great. That's a great answer. Another question that I had for both of you in your opinion, should everybody own their own house?
Do you want me to say, or do you want to say?
I'm all for owning your own house. I think it's the best investment decision you could absolutely make. Mm-hmm. Funny you say that, because my husband and I were even talking about investments, and we were considering stocks and other ways of investing. And again, time and time, real estate is the best investment decision that you could possibly make. You are paying yourself to live somewhere. In this market, we just talked about Columbus being the best market. You are going to make what we call a difference on its equity on your house. So when you buy a property, you may buy it at a certain price. And when you sell a property, you may sell that same property for more. Most likely in this market, you will sell that house for more. So that is equity. That's money that you're putting back into your own finances, back into your own bank. And however you want to invest that again into a bigger property or another property that you can make more gains on, that's the best decision possible. Rather than just renting, you're kind of just throwing that money away and giving it to the lender or the landlord.
Well, when it comes to renting versus owning, one of the important things that we share in our buyer conference is there's a huge flip of money in that process. So whatever, let's say somebody was renting their apartment for $1,000 a month, but their mortgage could be maybe $1,200 a month. Well, it sounds like they're going up, but there's a benefit for owning the house that you're not getting for renting.
Absolutely.
So if you multiply that out, let's say maybe your benefit for owning would be $200 a month, and you're losing that $200 every month you're renting. That's $2,400 swing. On the other side of that coin, then you're gaining the equity that Sonya is talking about, which is average 3 to 7% in Columbus. You're talking about a huge gap of money between renting and owning.
Wow.
And the benefit you're talking about, are you talking about claiming on your taxes?
Yes.
Okay, so just to clarify, you can claim on your taxes.
Yes, and there is well, we won't get into it now, but if anybody wants to know, we can give them some more in-depth information on that.
Is there any way our audience can reach out to you? Where can they get additional information?
Yes.
Absolutely. So you can reach out to me with my cell phone, 614-561-8491.
Repeat that.
614-561-8491.
We will also make it available in our description of the program.
Absolutely. Yes. Or you can email me at Sonya, Sonya.Dulaney, DULANEY @e-merge, MERGE.com.
Thank you.
And my cell phone number is 614-738-6813. And Judy Casmo, the Casmo team, and you can Google us, thecasmoteam.com, and you can get all the information. You'll see us there. There's search engines there. There's all kinds of information, training materials. But you can also reach me at an email. We have two, but I'll give you my personal email. It's jcasmo, CASMO, @e-merge, MERGE.com. We also have the Casmo team one. So.
Yeah, and I also have a website, sonyadelaney.e-merge.com.
And our website's the Casmo team.
That's fantastic.
e-merge.com, yes.
Thank you so much for sharing all this information. And I know I feel like I can just talk to you guys all day. And we can continue to go on, but I think you have shared really, really valuable information. And you really help us understand more about what's going on. We touched on how the market is going here in Columbus. So I really, really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience before we finish for today?
Well, I would say we'd be more than happy to sit down with any of the students who would like to get additional information. We have a really nice office, a really nice conference room, and we do hold those meetings from time to time for folks that want to know. And Sonya and I together would be more than happy to meet with anyone.
And honestly, I would say if you're going to start at a young age and go into this industry, don't sell yourself short. I started at a young age and I felt very overwhelmed and I think insecure because I felt like there were a lot more educated agents out there than myself. And that's not true
Very good
at all.
point.
Yeah, that's not true at all. And I would, I didn't jump into learning classes, different classes and learning. I didn't explore those options, and I would have done that. So don't short sell yourself. Jump in there. You have a market that other agents don't have. You have a sphere of influence that other agents cannot touch. So use your ability, use your sphere of influence, and be able to just really touch those people and get to know them. And honestly, they'll come to you when they hear what you have to say, and just, get the knowledge and submit yourself under someone who can really pour into you.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in your life that need you. So, they would only respond to you maybe if you cross their path with this information. Yeah. The only other thing is the education. We can also do any kind of a Zoom meeting, any kind of a, which this is today, Skype, sorry, and Facebook. So we can do that too for those that don't want to get out yet and don't want to mingle in person.
Yeah. Wow, this has been fantastic. You guys have shared a lot of great information, and I'm really, really thankful to you guys for your time. I know you're very busy, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this episode with us. So thank you, Sonya and Judy. We really appreciate you, and we'll be in touch later on. And for all of our audiences, we thank you so much for watching us on another episode of A Walk in My Shoes. We'll see you again next Wednesday. Stay tuned. See you later.